The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council shone with light from 1,000 stars. Ambassador Elena Reyes took a deep breath as she walked through the massive doors. This was her moment. The first human to ever stand before the 300-year-old Alliance of Alien Worlds. Steady now, she whispered to herself. Her dark blue uniform stood out among the colorful robes of the alien representatives. Hundreds of different species filled the hall. Some had scales, others had fur. Some floated in bubbles of special gas. Others stood on many legs. The rain fell hard on the Montana mountains. A young Major Callista Thorne stepped carefully through the mud toward the crash site. Smoke still rose from the strange metal craft half buried in the earth. "Dr. Chen, stay behind me," she ordered. The thin man with glasses nodded nervously. "Is it really alien?" Dr. Victor Chen asked, his voice barely hiding his excitement. "That's what you're here to tell us," Callista replied, "but nothing Earth-made looks like that." The ship was smooth and silver, with no visible engines or windows. It had crashed 3 hours ago. Local military had secured the area before anyone else could see it. Inside a tent set up near the crash, 5 soldiers stood guard around something, covered with a tarp. "The pilot?" asked Callista. "Yes, ma'am," said the guard. "Dead on impact." Dr. Chen pulled back the tarp and gasped. The alien had gray skin, 4 arms, and a large head with 3 eyes. "It's real," he whispered. "We're not alone. We need to study the ship," Callista said. "Everything about it. If there are more out there, we need to be ready." 3 days later, Callista and Dr. Chen sat in a secret underground base. Parts of the alien ship covered tables around them. Screens showed strange symbols from the ship's computers. "We've translated some of their data," Dr. Chen said, his eyes red from lack of sleep. "It's worse than we thought." He pointed to the screen. "This isn't a scout ship. It's an observer. They've been watching Earth for centuries." Callista frowned. "Who are they?" "They call themselves the Galactic Council, 300 species working together. But look at this." Dr. Chen showed her more translations. Callista's face grew pale as she read. "These are plans," she said slowly. "Plans to contain Earth, to stop us from ever leaving our solar system." Dr. Chen nodded. "They fear us. They think humans are too violent, too creative, too unpredictable. If we ever developed space travel, their plans include options to—" He paused. "Eliminate us." Callista stood up and paced the room. "Why haven't they done it already?" "Some council members argue humans should be given a chance. Others want us gone now. They're still debating." "While they debate, we prepare," Callista said firmly. "How much of their technology can we understand?" Dr. Chen smiled slightly. "More than they would like. Their computers weren't designed to keep secrets from us. They never thought we'd get our hands on them." "Then we have work to do," Callista said. "We need to build our own ships, our own weapons. Not just copies of theirs, but better versions. That would take decades," Dr. Chen warned, "and we'd need to hide everything from the public and from their watchers." Callista looked at the alien body on a table in the corner. "Then we better start now. We'll create a plan, a protocol for if they ever move against us." "What kind of protocol?" asked Dr. Chen. Callista's eyes hardened. "One that will make them regret ever threatening Earth." Present day. As President Thorne's finger left the red button, computer screens across the world lit up with activation codes. Under the Pacific Ocean, massive doors slid open on the ocean floor. In the asteroid belt, what looked like dead rocks split apart to reveal hidden shipyards. Deep in mountain bases, weapons powered up for the first time. General Harris looked at the tracking screens in awe. "How many ships do we have?" "Over 3,000, President Thorne said. "Built in secret over 20 years, using their technology, but improved by human ingenuity." "And the crews?" "Trained and ready. The best Earth has to offer." On the main screen they watched as the first ships rose from their hiding places. Sleek, deadly, and unlike anything Earth had officially built. Dr. Chen's final gift to humanity, President Thorne whispered. The Annihilation Protocol begins now. Elena had trained for this meeting for years. Earth had only learned about the Galactic Council 20 years ago. Since then, humans had worked hard to prove they belonged among the stars. The Council Arbiter, a tall being with gray skin and forearms, raised a hand for silence. The room grew quiet. We welcome the representative from Sol 3 known as Earth, the Arbiter said, his voice echoing through the hall. Elena stepped forward to the speaking platform. Cameras floated around her, sending her image to thousands of worlds and back to Earth, where billions watched with hope. Honored council members, she began. Humanity comes in peace. We seek to join your... The Arbiter raised his hand again, cutting her off. His face showed no emotion. Council security, step forward, he commanded. 3 large guards moved toward Mir. Elena, something was wrong. This wasn't part of the plan. What's happening? Elena asked, her hand moving to her communicator. I don't understand. The Arbiter stood tall, looking down at her. The Council has deliberated on humanity's petition. We find your species too dangerous and unpredictable for civilized space. Gasps filled the hall. Some council members stood in protest, but they were quickly silenced. This isn't the procedure, Elena said firmly. We have rights to fare. Humans have no rights here, the Arbiter said coldly. Your violent history, your rapid technological growth, your unpredictable nature, all make you a threat to Galactic peace. The guards surrounded Elena. One pulled out a weapon that glowed with blue energy. Elena stood straight, her eyes locked on the camera. She knew her people were watching. Earth will not forget this, she said clearly. We came in peace. Remember that. The blue weapon flashed. Elena fell. The broadcast to Earth cut off instantly. In the Situation Room deep beneath the White House, President Callista Thorne watched the blank screen. The room was deadly quiet. 20 top military and government officials sat frozen in shock. General Harris broke the silence. Madam President, we need your orders. President Thorne's face showed no emotion, but her eyes burned with cold fury. She had known Elena since college. They had dreamed of the stars together. They made their choice, she said quietly. Now they will face ours. She pressed her palm to the scanner on the table. A hidden panel opened, revealing a red button protected by glass. Madam President, Defense Secretary Wong whispered. Are you certain? Once initiated, the protocol cannot be stopped. President Thorne lifted the glass cover. They just executed our ambassador in front of the entire planet. They made their position clear. She pressed the button. Computer screens around the room lit up with the same message. Annihilation Protocol initiated. May God have mercy on them, General Harris said softly. Because we will not. Deep beneath oceans, hidden in mountains and disguised in orbit, humanity's secret weapons began to wake. The aliens would soon learn why they should have feared humans even more than they already did. 3 days after Ambassador Reyes died, Admiral Hikaru Zhang stood on the bridge of the largest ship humanity had ever built. The Nemesis was 2 kilometers long and armed with weapons no one in the galaxy expected humans to have. Status report, Zhang ordered, her voice calm despite the weight of what they were about to do. All ships report ready, Admiral, said Commander Davis from his station. The fleet is in position. Zhang nodded and looked at the main screen. It showed thousands of ships hidden throughout the solar system. Some had been built in secret bases under Earth's oceans. Others had been assembled in hidden stations disguised as space junk. For 20 years, Earth had prepared for this day, while the Galactic Council watched but saw nothing. Open fleet-wide channel, Zhang ordered. Channel open, Admiral. Zhang took a deep breath. The words she spoke next would be heard by every human ship about to leave the solar system. Men and women of Earth's defense forces, she began. 3 days ago, we all watched as Ambassador Reyes was murdered before the entire galaxy. The Council believed this would frighten us into staying in our solar system. They believed this would keep us in our place. She paused, her eyes hard. They were wrong. For 20 years we have built this fleet in secret. We have studied their technology and improved it. We have prepared for the possibility that the Council would one day show its true face. On ships throughout the solar system, thousands of crew members listened. Many had trained for years in hidden bases, never telling their families what they really did. Our mission is not revenge, Zhang continued. Our mission is to ensure humanity's place among the stars. We will strike hard and fast. We will show them that humans are not to be underestimated. She looked at the image of Earth on her personal screen. Beautiful and blue, the home they were fighting to protect. They called us dangerous and unpredictable, she said, her voice growing stronger. Let's prove them right. A cheer went up across the fleet. Zhang ended the transmission and turned to her navigation officer. Prepare jump coordinates. Target, Proxima Delta Colony. Jump coordinates set, Admiral. Zhang looked at the countdown on the main screen. In 30 seconds, the largest military force in human history would leave the solar system for the first time. They have no idea what's coming, Commander Davis said quietly. That's our advantage, Zhang replied. The Council thinks they know us. They think we're primitive and easy to control. They're about to learn how wrong they are. The countdown reached 0. Execute jump, Zhang ordered. Across the solar system, thousands of ships activated their engines at the same moment. They disappeared in flashes of light, leaving Earth behind. Far away, near the edges of Council space, monitoring stations picked up unusual energy readings from the Sol system. The bored alien technicians made a note to report it during their next shift change. It was probably nothing important. Meanwhile, in the Grand Council chambers, celebration continued. Many council races congratulated each other on solving the human problem. Drinks flowed as they toasted their wisdom in stopping the dangerous humans before they could join galactic society. Only one council member, an old being with blue skin and sad eyes, remained quiet during the celebration. She had voted against killing the human ambassador. Now she looked out at the stars and felt a chill she couldn't explain. The humans were coming and the galaxy was not ready. The mining colony of Proxima Delta was busy with the morning shift change. Alien workers with gray skin and 4 arms, members of the Vashoth species, moved between the tall buildings. They didn't notice when the sky suddenly filled with ships. The Nemesis and 50 human warships appeared in orbit without warning. On the bridge, Admiral Zhang watched the planet on the main screen. No response from their defense systems, reported Commander Davis. They don't even know we're here yet. Zhang nodded. The Vashoth were the ones who first suggested eliminating humanity. Let's show them what that really means. But she didn't give the order to fire the ship's weapons. Instead, she pressed a button on her chair. Marine strike teams, deploy, she ordered. Throughout the ship, soldiers in black armor entered drop pods. Captain Maya Rodriguez led the first team. Remember the plan, she told her soldiers as their pod shot toward the planet. Military targets only, no civilians. 500 drop pods raced toward Proxima Delta. The colony's alarms finally began to sound, but it was too late. The pods landed around the main military base and communication centers. Maya's pod hit the ground hard. The door blew open, and she led her team out, weapons ready. Move fast, she ordered. Take control of the communication center before they can call for help. Her soldiers moved like shadows through the streets. When Vashoth security forces appeared, the humans used weapons that stunned rather than killed. In 30 minutes, Maya's team reached the main communication tower. They found the doors locked and guards waiting inside. We can blow it open, said her second-in-command. Maya shook her head. No explosives. We do this clean. She stepped forward and spoke into her helmet's translator. Attention, Vashoth security forces. We have control of your city. Your military base is already in our hands. Surrender now, and no one else will be hurt. There was silence. Then the doors slowly opened. The Vashoth guards came out with their hands raised. Wise choice, Maya said. She led her team inside and took control of the communication systems. Across the colony, similar scenes played out. Human forces captured key locations with surgical precision. Not a single civilian was harmed. Meanwhile, in orbit, Admiral Zhang received reports from the ground teams. All targets secured, Admiral. Minimal resistance. No civilian casualties. Zhang smiled. Broadcast the message. On every screen on Proxima Delta, the face of President Thorne appeared. Her expression was serious but calm. People of the Galactic Council, she began. 3 days ago, your leaders executed our ambassador without cause or proper trial. They called humans too dangerous to join galactic society. The message continued playing as Zhang's communication officer reported, Admiral, we're receiving reports. 50 other human strike forces have simultaneously taken control of Council outposts across this sector. Zhang nodded. This was just the beginning. On the planet below, the Vashoth watched their screens in shock as President Thorne continued. Humanity does not target innocents. Surrender combatants will be treated with honor. Resist and witness why the Council truly fears us. The message ended with the image of Ambassador Reyes at the moment of her death. In the communication center, Maya noticed something strange. Many of the Vashoth workers were nodding as they watched the message. Your Council lied to us about humans, one of them said quietly. Many of us did not agree with what happened to your ambassador. Maya stared at the alien in surprise. Perhaps this mission would be more complicated than she thought. Dr. Victor Chen sat in his wheelchair, surrounded by screens in a secret room deep under the Rocky Mountains. At 82 years old, his body was weak, but his mind remained sharp. He watched as reports came in from human ships across Council. Space. Status update. He said to his assistant, Dr. Sarah Lin. All 50 primary targets secured, she reported. Phase 1 of the Annihilation Protocol is complete. Chen nodded slowly. He had designed this plan 20 years ago, and now it was finally happening. Admiral Zhang stood on the bridge of the Nemesis as it moved deeper into Council space. The human fleet had grown stronger with each victory. Many alien ships had surrendered, without a fight after seeing what happened at Proxima Delta. Admiral, we're approaching the Centauri Intelligence Hub, Commander Davis reported. Zhang nodded. This was their most important target yet. The Intelligence Hub was where the Council kept its most valuable secrets. All ships, prepare for battle, she ordered. We need this facility intact. The fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a massive space station. It hung in orbit around a small moon, its silver walls reflecting the light of a distant sun. They've spotted us, Davis said. Their defense systems are powering up. Zhang watched calmly as enemy ships moved to protect the station. Launch fighters. Target their weapon systems only. Human fighters poured from the larger ships. They were smaller and faster than anything the Council forces had seen before. The alien ships fired, but the human fighters dodged easily. They're using old targeting systems, Zhang observed. They still think we're less advanced than we are. Within 20 minutes, the Council ships protecting the hub were disabled but not destroyed. Zhang ordered boarding teams to the station. Captain Rodriguez, you're leading the main team, she said over the comm. Find their central data core. Maya and her soldiers cut through the station's hull and moved quickly inside. Alien security forces tried to stop them, but the humans had better weapons and armor. This way, Maya said, following the map on her helmet display. The data core should be 2 levels down. They fought their way through the station until they reached a massive door marked with Council symbols. Breaching charges, Maya ordered. Her team placed explosives on the door. When the smoke cleared, they rushed inside. The room was filled with glowing data storage units. 5 aliens in special robes tried to delete files but stopped when the humans entered. Step away from the consoles, Maya ordered. One alien spoke through a translator. You don't understand what you're doing. Some information must remain secret for the good of all. We'll decide that for ourselves, Maya replied. Her team secured the room while tech specialists connected to the data systems. Within an hour, the human ships had downloaded the entire database of the Intelligence Hub. They sent the data directly to Earth, where Dr. Chen and his team began searching through it. In his command center, Dr. Chen's eyes widened as he read the files from the intelligence hub. "Sarah, look at this," he said urgently. "The Arbiter, he acted without proper council approval when he killed Ambassador Reyes." Sarah leaned closer to read the screen. "These are internal council communications. Many members actually voted to accept humans." Chen nodded, his hands shaking with excitement. "The Arbiter belongs to the Vex Dominion. Look at their history." He pointed to another file. "For 300 years, they've eliminated any species that might one day challenge them." He pulled up more files. 17 different species, all declared too dangerous and contained or eliminated. "The Arbiter's species has been manipulating the Council for centuries." Chen immediately called President Thorne. "Madam President, we've found something critical. The Council itself is divided. Many members supported humanity's petition. The Arbiter acted against their own rules." Thorne's face showed surprise, then determination. "Send everything to me immediately, and prepare a broadcast to all Council worlds." Chen nodded. "The Vex Dominion is the real enemy. They've been eliminating potential rivals before they can grow powerful." "Then we know our next target," Thorne said grimly. "Redirect Admiral Zhang's fleet to the Vex homeworld." Chen looked worried. "The Vex homeworld will be heavily defended." "Good," Thorne replied. "It's time the galaxy sees what humans can really do when pushed too far." Sarah typed commands into her console. In a sealed room nearby, a special computer system came to life. Lazarus was the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created by humans. It had been built using knowledge from the alien ship that crashed on Earth. "Lazarus is online," Sarah said. "Beginning infiltration of Council networks." Chen wheeled himself to the main screen. "Show me the Council chamber." The screen changed to show the Grand Hall where Ambassador Reyes had died. Now it was filled with shouting aliens. Many Council members argued with each other as reports came in about the human attacks. "They're confused," Chen said with a small smile. "Good. Confusion leads to mistakes." He turned to another screen showing President Thorne in the White House. "Madam President, Lazarus is active. We're entering Phase 2. Thorne nodded on the screen. "How long before results?" "Hours, not days," Chen replied. "The Council's security isn't designed to stop something like Lazarus." "What exactly will it do?" Thorne asked. Chen's eyes gleamed. "It will tell the truth, Madam President. The truth the Council has been hiding." Across Council space, strange things began to happen. On thousands of planets, communication systems suddenly showed the same video: Ambassador Reyes being executed. But now the video continued, showing other executions from the Council's past, other species that had been eliminated because they were dangerous. Lazarus had found the Council's secret files and was sharing them with everyone. On the Vashoth, colony of Proxima Delta, Captain Maya Rodriguez watched as the aliens saw these videos. "Is this true?" she asked her Vashoth prisoner, an officer named Krell. Krell looked shocked. I didn't know. We were told humans were the first species the Council needed to contain." "We're not the first," Maya said grimly. "Just the first to fight back." In the Council chamber, the Arbiter tried to calm the shouting representatives. "These human broadcasts are lies," he yelled. "They have hacked our systems." The blue-skinned Council member who had opposed killing the human ambassador stood up. "Are they lies?" she asked loudly. "Or are they files from our own archives that you kept hidden from most Council members?" Murmurs spread through the room. The Arbiter's forehands clenched into fists. "This is human manipulation," he insisted. "They are proving why they must be eliminated." "By showing our own history," another Council member asked. "By taking our outposts without killing civilians. That doesn't sound like the dangerous monsters you described." The chamber erupted in arguments again. Back on Earth, Chen watched the chaos with satisfaction. "The protocol was never about destroying the Council," he told President Thorne. "It was about exposing it, breaking it apart, making them fight each other instead of us." Thorne looked concerned. "Some Council species will still try to destroy Earth." Yes, Chen agreed. Which is why Admiral Zhang is moving to Phase 3. He touched a screen showing a star map. A red dot blinked near the center of Council space. The homeworld of the Vex Dominion, Chen said. The species the Arbiter belongs to. The ones who have manipulated the Council for centuries. He coughed suddenly, pain crossing his face. Sarah rushed to check his vital signs. Your heart can't take this stress, she warned. You need rest. Chen waved her away. I'll rest when humanity is safe, when the annihilation protocol is complete. On his screen, the human fleet regrouped for their next target. The human fleet moved through space toward the Vex homeworld. Admiral Zhang studied the battle plans on her screen. Intelligence suggested the Vex had powerful defenses around their planet. Time to target? She asked. 6 hours, Admiral, Commander Davis replied. But we're detecting large energy signatures ahead. The Vex have set up a blockade. Zhang frowned. How many ships? At least 300, twice our number. The bridge grew quiet. This would be their hardest fight yet. We've faced worse odds, Zhang said confidently. Prepare the fleet for battle. As the hours passed, tension grew. When the fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, they found exactly what they expected. Hundreds of Vex warships waiting for them. Battle stations, Zhang ordered. All ships form up. Before the human fleet could move into position, the Vex ships opened fire. Energy beams tore through space. Evasive maneuvers, Zhang shouted. The human ships scattered, but 3 smaller vessels were hit. They exploded in bright flashes of light. Return fire, Zhang ordered grimly. The battle began in earnest. Human ships fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. The Nemesis shook as enemy fire hit its shields. Shields at 60%, reported an officer. We can't take much more of this. Zhang gripped her chair. Hold position. We need to break through their line. Suddenly, new ships appeared on their sensors. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel behind the Vex fleet. Admiral, Davis called out. More ships entering the battle. Zhang tensed. Vex reinforcements? Davis looked confused as he studied the screen. No, they're attacking. The Vex ships. On the main screen, Zhang watched as the newcomers fired on the Vex fleet from behind. The Vex ships, caught by surprise, began to turn to face this new threat. We're receiving a transmission from the lead ship, Davis said. Put it through, Zhang ordered. The combined fleet of human, Krell, and Andaran ships pushed through the remains of the Vex blockade. The path to Dominax, the Vex homeworld, now lay open. Damage report, Admiral Zhang ordered as the Nemesis regrouped with the other ships. 12 human ships lost, Commander Davis reported. The Krell lost 7, the Andarans 5. But we destroyed over half the Vex fleet. Zhang nodded grimly. The cost had been high, but they had won. Admiral Kayla's face appeared on the main screen. The path to Dominax is clear, Admiral Zhang. What is your plan? We could destroy their world from orbit, Zhang said. But that's not our way. What do you propose instead? Kayla asked, looking surprised. A precision strike team. We capture the Arbiter alive and bring him to justice before the entire galaxy. Zhang's eyes hardened. We're not like them. We don't destroy entire worlds. Kayla nodded slowly. A bold plan. My warriors will join yours. On Dominax, panic spread as news of the approaching fleet reached the planet. The Arbiter stood in his command center surrounded by nervous officials. Activate the ancient defenses, he ordered. They must not reach the surface. But sir, one official said, the ancient weapons haven't been tested in centuries. They could destabilize local space-time. Better that than letting humans set foot on our world, the Arbiter snarled. Do it now. Deep beneath the surface of Dominax, massive machines began to power up. They were weapons from a forgotten age, designed to tear apart the very fabric of space. In Earth's medical bay, Dr. Chen lay connected to machines that kept him alive. Despite his failing body, his mind worked frantically. Sarah, he called, weakly, bring me the Lazarus terminal. Sarah wheeled a computer to his bedside. Dr. Chen, you need to rest. No time, he said, his fingers tapping weakly at the keyboard. The Vex are activating something dangerous. On the screen, Lazarus showed him information from the Vex systems. Chen's eyes widened. Space-time weapons, he whispered. They'll destroy everything, even themselves. He began typing commands, directing Lazarus to infiltrate the Vex weapon systems. Must stop them, he gasped as pain shot through his chest again. President Thorne watched from nearby. Dr. Chen, please, let someone else do this. No one else understands the system like I do, he said, not stopping his work. This is why I created Lazarus, for this moment. Admiral Zhang led the strike team herself. Their ships approached Dominax cautiously. Energy readings off the scale, Davis reported from the Nemesis. They're powering up some kind of massive weapon system. Zhang's ship shook as strange waves of energy passed through it. All teams prepare for immediate drop, she ordered. We have to reach the surface before they fully activate their weapons. Drop pods launched from the human ships racing toward the Vex capital city. Inside her pod, Zhang checked her weapon one last time. Remember, she told her team, we take the Arbiter alive. The pods crashed through the atmosphere as storms began to form around the planet. Landing in the streets of the Vex capital, Zhang and her soldiers moved quickly toward the central government building. Resistance is heavy, Captain Rodriguez reported from her position. But we're pushing through. Suddenly all their communications crackled with a new voice. Dr. Chen, speaking from his medical bed on Earth. Strike teams, he said, his voice weak but determined. The Vex have activated ancient space-time weapons. You have 30 minutes before they tear apart that entire sector of space. Zhang's team fought harder, pushing toward the Arbiter's chamber. Can you stop the weapons, Dr. Chen? Zhang asked. I'm trying, Chen replied. Lazarus is working to override their systems. On Earth, Chen's heart monitor began to beep faster as he pushed himself beyond his limits. Sarah watched in horror as his vital signs began to fail. Victor, please stop, she begged. You're killing yourself. Chen ignored her, his fingers still typing commands. Annihilation. Not of lives, he whispered, but of lies. On Dominax, Zhang's team finally reached the doors to the Arbiter's chamber. The screen showed an alien with blue skin and large eyes, the same council member who had opposed killing Ambassador Reyes. Human fleet, she said. I am Admiral Kayla of the Krell Protectorate. We have seen the truth you revealed about the Vex Dominion. We come to fight alongside you. Zhang was speechless for a moment. You're helping us? The Vex have manipulated the Council for too long, Kayla replied. Many Council worlds have now seen your broadcasts. The Andaran Republic has joined us as well. As if on cue, more ships appeared, sleek vessels with green markings. The Andarans were always suspicious of the Vex, Kayla explained. Now we know why. Zhang quickly recovered from her surprise. We welcome your help, Admiral Kayla. Let's coordinate our attack. The battle turned as the combined forces of humans, Krell, and Andarans pressed the Vex fleet from both sides. Ship after ship fell to their coordinated assault. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen watched reports of the battle with amazement. We have allies, he whispered. The protocol is working even better than I hoped. Suddenly, pain shot through his chest. He gasped and clutched at his heart. Dr. Chen, Sarah cried, rushing to his side. Medical staff hurried into the room as Chen collapsed in his chair. They moved him quickly to a medical bay. His heart is failing, a doctor told President Thorne when she arrived. He's been working non-stop since the protocol began. Thorne looked through the glass at Chen, now connected to life support machines. Save him, she ordered. We need him to finish what he started. The doctor looked grave. We'll do what we can, but he refuses medical stasis. He says he must complete the final stage of the protocol first. Thorne entered the room and stood by Chen's bed. His eyes fluttered open. Madam President, he said weakly. There's something you must know about the protocol, something I never told anyone. He motioned for her to come closer. The Annihilation Protocol was never meant to destroy the galaxy, he whispered. It was designed to reshape the Council into something more just, with humanity as equal partners rather than subjects. Thorne stared at him in surprise as the monitors beeped around them. The doors to the Arbiter's chamber exploded inward. Admiral Zhang led her team through the smoke, weapons ready. Inside, the Arbiter stood behind a desk, his four hands holding a strange device. "Stop right there, humans!" he shouted. "One more step and I'll activate the final sequence. This entire sector will be destroyed." Zhang held up her hand, signaling her team to halt. "It's over, Arbiter. Your fleet is defeated. Your lies have been exposed to the galaxy." The Arbiter's eyes narrowed. "Lies? I protected the Council from threats like you for centuries." "By murdering innocent species?" Zhang asked. "By executing our ambassador against your own laws?" "I did what was necessary," the Arbiter hissed. 17 species before you would have upset the balance of power. Humans are the most dangerous of all." Captain Rodriguez moved slowly to Zhang's side. "Admiral, Dr. Chen reports 10 minutes until the weapons reach critical level." Zhang never took her eyes off the Arbiter. "You claim to protect the galaxy, but you're willing to destroy it rather than face justice. You know nothing of—" The Arbiter's words were cut short as a stun blast hit him from behind. He collapsed to the floor, the device falling from his hands. Behind him stood a Vex officer. "Enough death," the Vex officer said. "I've served him for 20 years. I've seen what he's done." Zhang moved quickly, securing the Arbiter and the device. "Dr. Chen, we have the Arbiter and the control device. Can you stop the weapons?" Back on Earth, Chen's fingers flew across the keyboard despite his failing strength. "Almost there." The Lazarus system infiltrated the final defenses of the ancient weapons. One by one, the massive machines beneath Dominax powered down. "It's done," Chen whispered. His hand fell away from the keyboard as the monitors around him wailed in alarm. "Dr. Chen," Sarah cried as medical staff rushed to revive him. 3 days later, the remaining members of the Galactic Council gathered in an emergency session. The Grand Chamber was only half full. Many council races had withdrawn in protest after learning the truth about the Vex. The Arbiter was brought before them in restraints. Admiral Zhang stood nearby, representing Earth. "The evidence is overwhelming," said Admiral Kayla, now acting as temporary council leader. "The Vex Dominion, led by the Arbiter, has systematically eliminated 17 emerging species over 3 centuries. Murmurs filled the chamber as images of the extinct species appeared on large screens. Each was deemed a threat to galactic peace, Kayla continued. Each was destroyed or contained before they could challenge Vex dominance. The Bring Arbiter kept his head high. "I protected the established order. These primitive species would have brought chaos." "Like humanity did?" Zhang asked, stepping forward. "We had the power to destroy your homeworld. Instead, we risked our lives to capture you alive and face justice." On the screens, new images appeared. Human soldiers helping wounded Vex, Admiral Zhang ordering medical aid for Vex civilians caught in the fighting. "The Council votes to dissolve its current structure," Kayla announced. "We will reform under new principles." Zhang stepped forward. "Earth demands not revenge, but reform. A new galactic charter that protects the rights of all species, regardless of their age or development." "And if we refuse?" asked one council member. Zhang's expression hardened. "During our campaign, we deployed phase-shifted observer drones throughout council space. We could have destroyed you all. We chose not to." She gestured to the screens now showing the locations of thousands of hidden human drones. "Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy," she said. "We want a galaxy worth living in." Back on Earth, President Thorne stood at Dr. Chen's bedside. The doctors had managed to stabilize him, but he remained unconscious. "He saved us all," Sarah said softly. "Not just humans, but the galaxy." Thorne nodded. "When he wakes up, he'll see a different galaxy than the one that tried to destroy us. On the screen nearby, Admiral Zhang continued addressing the Council, outlining the principles of a new galactic order, one where no species would face extinction for being different. The Annihilation Protocol, Thorne said quietly, turned out to be a creation protocol instead. 1 year later, a new building stood on neutral territory, a small moon that orbited no planet but traveled its own path around the galaxy's center. The reformed Galactic Council headquarters gleamed in the light of distant stars. Inside the Grand Chamber, representatives from over 300 species gathered. At the center podium stood Ambassador Callista Thorne, formerly the President of Earth. She had stepped down from leadership to take this diplomatic role. 1 year ago, she began, our world stood on the edge of destruction. Today we stand together in peace. The chamber was designed differently from the old council hall. Instead of raised platforms for powerful species, all seats were equal. Along the walls stood memorials to the 17 species the Vex had eliminated. Among them, a special monument honored Ambassador Elena Reyes. The new charter before you today, Thorne continued, enshrines the rights of all sentient beings. No species shall be judged solely by their biology or their history. All have the right to grow and develop without fear of elimination. Admiral Kala, now the official council leader, stepped forward. All those in favor of ratifying the charter indicate now. Lights appeared above each representative. One by one, they turned green. Some species hesitated, but in the end, even they agreed. The vote was unanimous. Applause filled the chamber. Representatives who once feared humans now stood beside them. The Krell, the Andarans, and even reformed members of the Vex Dominion joined together. It is done, Kayla announced. From this day forward, we are one galactic community. Later, that evening, Thorne walked with Admiral Zhang through the memorial garden. Did you ever think we'd be here? Thorne asked. When we activated the protocol? Zhang shook her head. I thought we'd be fighting for our survival, not reshaping galactic politics. They stopped at Elena Reyes's memorial. Her face, carved in stone, seemed peaceful. She would be proud, Zhang said. Her death wasn't in vain. Thorne nodded. And Chen? How is he? Recovering slowly, Zhang replied. The doctors say he may never fully regain his strength, but his mind is as sharp as ever. They continued, walking until they reached a hidden transporter. It took them to a secure facility deep beneath the lunar surface. Inside, a large control room monitored the galaxy. Dr. Chen sat in a hover chair, his body thin but his eyes bright. Sarah Lynn stood beside him, monitoring his health. Ambassador Thorne, Chen greeted her. Good news from the council? The charter is ratified, Thorne confirmed. All species have equal rights now. Chen smiled. Then my work is nearly complete. He gestured to the screens around them. They showed thousands of human observer drones, still hidden throughout council space. The Annihilation Protocol remains active, he explained. Not as a weapon, but as insurance. Do you think we'll need it? Zhang asked. Chen looked thoughtful. I hope not, but humanity learned a hard lesson. Trust requires verification. On another screen, they watched as the first class of the new council, security force, took their oath. Among the alien officers stood human recruits, all training together. Never again will the strong dictate the fate of the emerging, they said in unison. This is our solemn vow. Thorne placed her hand on Chen's shoulder. You called it the Annihilation Protocol, but you never intended annihilation. Chen smiled weakly. Names have power. The council feared annihilation, so that's what we threatened. But our true goal was always transformation. Outside the council headquarters, ships from 100 worlds traveled peacefully beside each other. Among them, the Nemesis, now a diplomatic vessel, prepared for its next mission, to search for the lost colonies of the 17 eliminated species. Perhaps some had survived in hiding. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through Conquest, but through their unique combination of righteous fury, strategic brilliance, and ultimately mercy. The Annihilation Protocol was complete. A new galaxy had been born.